it is exceptionally tight. We could get it better.
By?
Probably trimming the male part.
Oh, don't do that.
As in the rest of life, it is easier to trim male parts than female parts.
So is he breaking the end off it?
Sorry, that was meant to happen. You viewers don't
Well,
know
it's
that.
a demonstration of how tight the joint is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Can't get the bugger apart. So.
Well, we
But you wish they were that tight on the lathe, you bring it to the wood. Fairly solid.
Why not drive the end off with some other rod?
Just put something in there and drive that like that.
Well, you could just say, really good.
I think it's good enough for government work.
Good enough for government work, yeah, you're probably right.
It's good enough for
In fact,
NASA,
there's another way to trim it, which is to put the soil. I don't like doing this because it's dangerous. Just take that bit off there. You can actually run the saw in between, kerf it in, it's called, and you'll lose some of both the mortise and the tenon, which is, I suppose, what we shall have to call this.
Toblerone tenon.
Yeah, Toblerone tenons.
In your pole lathe.
You what?
I broke in your pole lathe.
Yeah, that's right. This is the joint that you broke in my pole lathe, Ed. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Can we replace this in about...
Yeah, it didn't take long.
20 minutes?
That was my birthday as well, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
no, it was on your birthday. I broke your pole lathe.
Well, he probably liked that because it was an excuse that he didn't have to do any turning.
Yeah, I've been meaning to replace that leg for a long time.
So it goes up a bit further now, and it's a bit tighter. I think that's going to do. You get the idea. And what you can do is, when you've got it to this stage, if you trim this off, a bit more carefully than that. You might use a draw knife on this if you had one. I haven't got one.
What's the university grant cuts, I suppose?
That's right, yeah. We're having terrible times in the University Department of Bone Age Dating back in Bratislava, I can tell you that. My English is good though, isn't it?
Jeez, mate. Anybody think you're a native?
That's right.
No,
Mate, well, look at that. You see, when you cut the top off and shave it, people say, how did you get that in there? And the real answer is brute force of Greenwood. But what you actually say is just skill.
So as that dries, will it come out?
Yeah, it'll fall out, but you can tuck it up tighter.
Or chop the end off.
Yeah, or make a new leg. But I mean, it will come loose when it dries, but then it's ever so easy just to drive it in further.
Yeah. Well, that's,
you can take it out quite easily.
You can. Once it's a very tight fit now, and I think the Romanian idea is you make a very utilitarian trestle, and you just leave it on the site and it turns into firewood. It didn't take long to make. You can see how long.
Yeah.
We didn't spend a lot of time with that. We didn't use a lot of different tools. It wasn't complicated. So it's something that's almost like throwaway stuff. And I say you're Romanian, but I think from what Rob has told me, it's fairly common to Eastern Europe. In fact, there's a United Nations book on woodcraft, forestry crafts from 1960, and that's got a bench for stripping poles, dark stripping poles, which is legs made exactly this way.
is that its main application, legs, really? Or have you seen it in other?
I've tried to make some other things with it, with limited success.
Right.
It mainly seems to work well for this kind of very rustic bench style. So I've made my chopping block this way. I've made some garden benches like this, and my lathe is made this way. That's the one that you broke on my birthday. Remember that?
Is this your bowl lathe?
Yeah, my bowl lathe.
Yes.
Right.
So my bowl lathe is just a big knotty lump of ash with a slot cut in the middle, and then 2 very knotty ends to stop it splitting, and then I just put 4 legs in using this style. And they've got a very strong rake both out to the ends and out to the side. So it's got a very, very large footprint at the bottom. It's incredibly stable. It works really well. It does come apart. Yeah.
Does it quite easily come apart?
Yeah. This is. You can see how this is really, really tight. Tight as a whale's bottom at 40 fathoms. Let's be honest. But that's good at this stage. That's what you want. When it dries out, it'll be much, much easier. It'll fall apart. But again, we can tighten it just by tapping it again.
So with the 4 legs of your bowl lathe, how easy is it to get the 4 legs to sit evenly?
Well, you obviously have to make the legs over long.
Yeah.
I've just done a demonstration here, so I just chose an easy piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
If I was trying to make a bench, I would leave these over long from what I wanted. I'd make 2 like this, like 2 legs in this plane, leave those in, and then move it to another plane, something like that.
Yep.
Lift it up like that, with a block underneath it, and make the new legs here.
Mm-hmm.
So then we've got the right kind of splay,
Yep.
what we want. And then you just trim them to make them level. It's really easy. You just have to leave plenty of length on them so that you don't end up with a leg that's too short.
And so when you've used the lathe a few times and the legs have gone in and out half a dozen times, do you find that you have to keep trimming the bottoms of the legs, or do you just whack one in a bit further?
I seem not to have to do that with my ones I've used for a while. Once you get it about right, it seems there isn't very much trimming.
I mean, we've got it in the wood. You just seem to move. I mean, we move it around and get it level, don't we? And just sort of.
As the legs get drier, they're less secure than this. This is absolutely tight. You saw I couldn't get it
Yep.
out. As they get a bit drier, they wobble a bit, and that means you can actually just spread them slightly and get a better, stable top part.
Yeah.
You bed them in easy in the soft.
I mean, we're not working in a workshop. We're working in the woodland.
woodland.
We're not working on even ground.
But you do mark your legs up as well.
You have to put the right leg in the right slot.
So
that's pretty important.
Yeah, that was part of the problem last time you brought it. The marks were so faint that we tried to put them in.
You can do this. This is great, isn't it? Yeah. You look at it after December's passed. You won't be able to read this at all. You won't see that at all. So what you have to do is put a nice number 1 notch in there, and then with your borrowed chisel, make some kind of number 1 here, because otherwise you won't see it. So, as long as you mark up the legs and always put the same leg in the same slot, it's pretty foolproof. How long have I had that lathe? Can you remember? 40 years, haven't I?
Yeah, it's very fast to get together. Yeah, donkey's ears.
You can imagine if we were able to shave. Try that with a nut actually. If we could shave that off a bit better, it would look really smart. If we showed it to people,
Possibility for chair making as well.
I think it was really stunningly good.
Did you hear that about the axe?
No.
The small axe. There's a
Where did you discover this? Then you were actually visiting.
No, there's a French book called Charpentier au Travail, which is
Something to do with work.
Carpenters at Work, and it's based on a seminar, international seminar on timber framing, which was held in a folk museum in Romania. So there's all sorts of different people demonstrated timber framing, including some Romanian guys who are building a covered well for the event. And they just, first thing they did was made some trestles. And they got all the logs that they were going to use and started hewing them on that.
Yeah.
Hewing them with an axe, sawed them, joined them all up, and at the end of the job, that was firewood. The trestles were firewood.
Wow.
They look pretty good to me. I have to
That's
say.
a sign of how easy it is to make when it's that disposable.
It's almost disposable stuff.
Thank you very much for that.
Great.
Quality.